Hi, this is Tony.
I'm Elias.
And we are from SONATA ARCTICA, and you're listening and watching Linea Rock. Stay there.
Welcome to Linea Rock. Hi, Tony.
Hey.
Hi, Elias.
Hello.
Today you are here in Milan for promote the new album of SONATA ARCTICA.
Yes.
The new 10th album will arrive on the store on 6th of September on label Nuclear Blast. Yeah. And once again, like the five album, Unia, has a Finnish title.
Correct.
I try to pronounce, but Talviyö.
Talviyö, like we say in Finland.
Most difficult for all the DJ, I think.
Yeah, I think it's a mouthful for the rest of the world. Just Finns know how to say that.
Okay. So, yeah. And has this word a special meaning for you? And how was born the idea to use again a Finnish word as title of the album?
Yeah, well, it means winter night. And when you see the album cover, it's pretty evident that it just fits with the image.
Atmosphere.
Yeah, and the atmosphere and the visual side of the album. And that's why it was named. It was the last thing we came up for this album. And it was like we were pondering whether or not it should be in English or Finnish. And we were thinking that it should be just talvi, winter. But then as a joke, almost, I said that let's put a mouthful that's difficult to say for everybody, Talviyö. And everybody thought, hey, that's, yeah, let's do that. And here we are.
Okay. Like before, the Unia is the five albums, so
yeah,
10.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably
I didn't even think
another
of that.
5 albums.
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay. The new artwork, you have told now about the new artwork. There are the most important SONATA ARCTICA elements like wolf, ravens, full moon, snow, and above all, 2 crossing falling stars showing an X, like the number of your album, 10. Yes. Who painted the cover? Who created this winter cover?
It's actually a photograph. I can show you the original photo. You can describe it to the people. There you go. That's the original photo by Viljanen, and it's just turned into what you see there, night, sort of night picture, and added like moon and obviously shooting stars, which naturally they cannot, I think, fly crossing each other like that. It's unnatural, and the ravens and the wolf that we have, but the base of the album cover is a photograph.
Right.
Yeah, so that was the idea, and that is something that I have wanted to have for SONATA ARCTICA for a long time. And this time, the whole album booklet, when you go through it, all the pictures are actual photos, edited to be like this.
This is the result.
Yeah.
The new album is very melodic, following the last 2 works. We can say it's a kind of melodic metal, but with some progressive elements in some tracks. What your fan will find in the new winter night?
I think Talviyö is, when you take SONATA ARCTICA's whole career, I think this is like a cliche to say, but you can almost have everything that we have ever done from this album. You have the opening track of the album, for example, and also Ismo's got good reactors, the instrumental track, which are in the vein of the old, like almost from the beginning of our career, those songs stylistically. So you have that side there. You have the progressive elements. When we had this weird period of time from Unia to Stone Score Her Name, when we were experimenting a little bit and doing different kind of music. You have that side here as well, and now like these little bit slower times that we've been doing since Pariah's Child and the 9th Hour. And I think these 3 albums, Pariah's Child, the 9th Hour, and Talviyö, they are in line together. Like we've been drifting around for a while, and now we have found the road, and we are going forward in that style. So I think it's just like many of SONATA ARCTICA's album. I think I said the same thing with the 9th Hour, that it's sort of wrapping up SONATA ARCTICA's career on one album, like stylistically, and I think this is the case here as well.
Okay. Elias, considering that in the last album the guitar solos are very rare, except for the instrumental song, how do you think is changing your role in the band after 12 years?
Well, of course, music has changed itself. But for instance, I played a lot of acoustic guitars on this new album, and lots of tracks. And of course, when I get a chance to play a solo, I will do it.
Especially live, I think.
Yeah. But I understand that the soloing is not always right thing to do in atmospheric song, for instance.
Yes.
Or whittling around.
Or it should complement, I think, the song. If you have a really nice mood, you can have a solo, but it should somewhat be in a style that it swims in and works together with the atmosphere. So that kind of solos, but not like free-form jazz. Whatever.
The songs leave much space to melodies and the arrangements, and also the singing has more pathos than powerful. Tony, how is changed the way to write songs after 10 albums? If something is changed.
Yeah, well, stylistically, when you really think of, if you would arrange all the songs to be in the same style, like for instance, acoustic style, I don't know if you could really tell the difference between the first album and the last album. But of course, obviously, because the first album was stylistically like really speedy power metal. But if they were all arranged in a new way, and I think we have consistency there. You can't really tell the difference, and that's the thing, in my opinion. And we've just drifted stylistically, arrangement-wise, quite a bit along these 20 years, and I think it's what has changed in the songwriting process. I think compared to the early days, which was more organic, we actually spent a lot more time. We had a lot more time to spend on the rehearsal camp together and go through ideas together. And they were my songs. I wrote the songs, but we were then compiling them together without any computers or MIDI or such things, which is something that I use a lot these days. You know, we live all over the land of Finland, and it's sometimes difficult to get the common time together, and so it's much easier for me to write all the songs in the privacy of my home in peace. And once I have enough songs, like 10 or 12 songs, for example, demos ready, we get together and listen to the old demos and decide whether or not all the songs would fit on the album, or is there something we should change or leave out, and maybe write new songs in. So that's the process of writing the songs has changed in that sense.
In that sense. About the instrumental, Ismos got good reactor. It's a particular, it reminds some way the old sonata style. Was it more for instrumental or what else?
Excuse me, was it?
The songs is instrumental,
yeah.
But the idea was, when you started to record, was we can do an instrumental, or?
Oh, yeah. Well, I just started fooling around, having fun with music, and suddenly I noticed that I have this might actually be a song that I have a song together. That can I sing on it? Maybe not, but hey, it's like weird enough and short enough to be an instrumental track, which we could actually have on the album. I can't remember. I think on Reckoning Night we had this like. Before Don't Say a Word, we had this instrumental track, and before that it was Revontulet on our second album, Silence. But it was about time to have an instrumental track on the album, and
why not?
It was fun, and then people have actually described who have heard the song that it's sort of like a trip around the world. It has these Oriental feelings and something from the Mid East and so forth, and speedy power metal-esque part and everything, and it's a fun track, and just happened to occur on the right time. Some of the ideas I've had like in my backpack since I was like 13 or 14, so it like some of the ideas are really super old, but I never found really use for it until now.
During the recordings of the new album, in March, you had a break playing a European acoustic tour, also here in Milan, probably in a theater.
Yes, yeah.
Right. How was born this idea, and how was playing your classic in this way, and the reaction of the fan?
I think it must have been like the Days of Grace tour that we had these acoustic sessions between the tour, between the shows. Yeah, they had a break and then acoustic few songs, 5 songs or so, and then continued the show in a normal, like, metal way, rock show way, and that is how the whole thing got started. And some years back, maybe must have been like 5 years or so, we arranged more songs in acoustic style. It must have been like an hour set or so, and we toured the Finnish summer festivals playing acoustically, and we got really, really good feedback from the fans, and that's how the idea got started. And eventually, when we sort of needed to have a tour, because the break was turning out to be so long, so we figured that, hey, it might just as well be the acoustic tour, and we arranged the songs enough to have like the full show full of acoustic songs in a new way, and it turned out really well. I think the feedback from the fans was great. A lot of people crying, emotional. Some of the songs work actually much better, in my opinion, at least in the acoustic way that it does. In a way, so they are beautiful. It kind of
so different to play acoustic sets than normal sets. So it's
And also the location is right to use a theater.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We had a few shows also in sort of bar environment, but it's so delicate, the whole thing, that we are playing around with silence or near silence. There are little sounds that keep going on, and if you have people like blah, 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 in the back, it kind of destroys the feeling. But when you're playing in an auditorium or theater kind of environment, people are just enjoying the sound, the tiny things, and it's like then.
And have you the recording for a future DVD or Blu-ray? Some shows in acoustic?
I think we recorded quite a few of those shows, unless all of them. But we didn't think that it would make a live DVD or CD or any such thing. But we've been thinking that one day when we have time and the moment is right, we might actually arrange more songs and record an album. Yeah, or many albums, because we have more than 110 songs to choose from, and so easily we could have maybe like 4 albums or something like that.
Wow.
And it would make the touring so much fun. We could just choose different songs for every night, for that matter.
For the previous album, The Ninth Hour, Tony, you stay alone in a cottage, taking inspiration, surrounded by the nature, right? And what has inspired you this time? And what can you tell about the writing process of the recordings of the new album?
The inspiration comes from the same place where it has come, like almost since forever, to surrounding world. I don't write too much fantasy things. We do not have dragons and such things happening on our albums much, but which is just, I don't know, it just doesn't come naturally for me, and it's fine. When some people have that's great, but it just doesn't. It's not my thing. So it's like everything. When I've actually grown older, I've become more aware of the world surrounding me, and when you have your own family and everything, it changes you in a very fundamental way, and you start worrying about things that you didn't worry when you were 25 or something like that. And nowadays, of course, everybody should be worried about the state of this planet, what's going to happen, and the choices we make, also with our own things, what we do in everyday life, and also politically who we choose to lead our countries, because those decisions kind of dictate also what's going to happen with the environment in the future, which is unfortunate in let's say USA at the moment, so which has gone a long way downhill. So. That's one thing. And then, of course, normal.
This time, you worked together a producer, Mikko Tigelman, who already worked with the Tarot, another famous band, the band of Marco Yetala. Why this decision to use an external producer, and why Mikko?
Mikko has been actually our front of house live sound guy since 2012. And we have been dreaming and hoping and trying to get more of this live feeling for our albums on our own for a long time. And doing it the same thing again and again and again, and it's kind of stupid if you expect finally to get like different result one time, unless you change something. And this time we figured that maybe we should use a producer, and who would know our live sound better than Mikko? So we asked him to join the process, and he's a studio guy, has been working with other bands as well, so we knew that he can do the job, and we ended up playing the basic tracks for the album, like drums, bass, and partially also the guitars live in the studio, and you can really hear that from the album. I think it brings more this organic feeling, which in my opinion it and I hope it makes this album more sort of that it will stand the test of time more easy than some of the more like heavy metal style with a lot of samples and everything produced.
How many time you spend in studios?
I think the first sessions that started in September last year, it was like
maybe 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I went on this Christmas tour for 1.5 months or so, and we continued in January. Then we had the acoustic tour and went back to studio after that, and then we finished the whole work in really, really late May or early June, and managed to get the album done in time. So we didn't actually spend almost a year in the studio, but that's just like bit by bit, which was really good actually, because it gave us a chance to breathe and get a little bit distance for the material for a while, and then can get back to it.
We can talk about another song of the album, The Last of the Lambs, and is an introspective track, soft song. What is it about, and was it inspired you for this song?
It's really, I love the atmosphere and the feeling, the mood. It's kind of dark and movie soundtrack, like in some weird way, and it's continuing this Caleb saga that we've had since the second album, Silence. The end of this chapter, Juliet, Caleb, and some other songs as well on the set there, and The Last of the Lambs continues that song. It's a saga in a way that it doesn't continue with each song, but it's like I sort of rewrite the story with each of these songs, and it's basically a stalker story about a woman and a man, and I think when things go a little bit wrong, nobody dies in this version of the story, but but still, I think it came out beautifully. It's a wonderful song.
The closer track is The Garden, a song without drums, where the winter night comes to the end. And it would be perfect to close your show, probably in the future, I don't know this. About tour, for the acoustic one, you had a Witherfall, like a band with us. And already for the next tour, you have choose a support band, or you decide in the second time?
Actually, the whole tour starts from North America this time, and we are opening for Camelot. And then we have, as a third band, we have Battle Beast. On that
free
tour.
band, so
the 3-band package, yeah. And on the European tour starts in mid-November, I think, from Finland, and we don't have any more details, but it goes on until like late or mid-December. And I hope really that the dates and the whole tour will be announced shortly. So check out our social media sites and such for more information in the near future.
Italy is including in this year or the next year?
I will whoop somebody's bass, unless we come here to Milano and hopefully even Rome and other places.
Yes, not only
more the better. Exactly, but
more,
I know that
more town.
Yeah, but I know that Milano is the natural thing, being up in north and everything. It's easy
for the tour.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I know that Italy is conforming very, very nice country, but it's difficult that band arrive in the south of Italy for playing because the day after you must return. You can take the airplane, but the instruments and amplificator, yes, it's difficult.
Yeah, we know Finland is the same way. We have like a long country, 1,500 kilometers, so it takes a long time to drive. But nobody has shows in the far north anyway, so everybody could.
1999, 2019, 20 years of Sonata Arctica, 10 albums, the success, and one of the most important band of Finland. Tony, in these 20 years, what is the biggest dream you have realized? And how do you think you are changed as musician and composer in these years?
I think
And after you, Elias.
I think the biggest dream that I had was that we would be able to do this still after 20 years and even longer, to have a steady career that we can actually make a living doing what we do, what we love, and not have to do anything else. So none of us have an actual day job or anything. We can do some odd jobs, go do projects with other musicians and such, go in and sing and play in projects. But this is our main thing, our day job, if you will, and that's something, a dream that has actually come true. And I don't know what else I could dream for the future either. Just a steady career that gives us a chance to live a normal life, also financially. Yeah.
For you, Elias?
I mean, it's of course good to be here after I've been in the band for 12 years. And I think we are much more calmer nowadays, and I think it shows in our music as well. And also, the main thing I think would be, it's nice to pass these emotions to the fans and people through the music, and keep on continuing that.
The last question is about the video. You have present a lyric video for the first single, A Little Less Understanding, but there is an idea to prepare a complete video for another song, for another single, before the album go out.
We're gonna release one single song and video before, and second one simultaneously at the same time with the album. So that's like only a week and a half or so in between, and then there's going to be a third, or actually fourth video, but a third actual video that's going to be released before the European tour.
Yes, there is a special edition. I think there is a normal CD, vinyl, I think.
Vinyl, at least, yes.
And a special box. You don't know if Nuclear Blast prepares something about it?
I'm not completely sure, because I'm sure if we didn't prepare any bonus tracks per se. Only for Japan, obviously, because that's...
Japan always won a bonus track.
It's still the same thing, obviously, because it's much cheaper for them to buy... order English, European editions of the album on their home mailbox than go downstairs and buy it from the local stores, which is really messed up. It's it's weird and wrong, but it's okay, because it only gives us also an opportunity to kind of, when the time is right, we can also release the bonus tracks in Europe as well, after a certain amount of time.
A cover or
it's an original song. It has to be an original song always there. And it's a really good song. Actually, my original idea was to have A Little Less Understanding as a bonus track, because that was the last track I wrote, and it's the most simple song on the whole album, in my view anyways. And then it was just like, it just came out like that.
Okay.
And so...
Thank you very much, Tony. Thank you very much, Elias. See you the next time when you return here for Play Live in Italy. Okay?
Yes. Thanks very much. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.